And do you do it on just speaker view for the recording?
I can.
Yeah, maybe that would be the easiest, right?
Yep, we're rolling.
We're rolling. Okay. All right. So officially, welcome. Super happy to have all of you here and excited to talk about oils. I know a number of you have asked lots of different questions and are just starting out on the journey, and some of you have a background with oils, and so this will be hopefully something that hits a little bit of information for everybody. But the goal of today's class is to talk through just the concept of using essential oils and chemical-free lifestyle, and just trying to sort of get our brains around what that means. And I know for me, this was one of the first classes I did with Rebecca, because I didn't know anything about oils. I didn't understand what all the fuss was about. And all my friends were using them and talking about them. And honestly, I was kind of skeptical, like what's the big deal? So this was a great class to do that, and kind of ask some of those questions and get some questions answered and get kind of a view of what this is all about. And so Rebecca and I were talking about sharing this class. She had led it, but we're going to co-lead it and kind of walk you through some different steps. So generally speaking, I am actually kind of shocked by how much essential oils have helped me in the short time that I've been using them, like to the point where I still feel kind of in awe of how much it has helped me. And I will tell you a little bit about that story, but that's why I'm here, because I've seen such huge change in my own life with respect to oils. So pretty excited about that. So most of you know that I'm a psychotherapist, and I also have a company called A New Leaf. And that name was given long before I even got into oils, which is just a lovely natural extension of what I was trying to build, on themes of growth and development and change and new pages, new leaves, that kind of thing in my therapy. So oils is just another extension of that. So Rebecca had asked me to start off by telling you a little bit about my own journey with oils and what it has meant for me, and a few of the health benefits that I've experienced in the last 6 months or so, I think it is, Rebecca. And so I'll just tell you how I got into them. So initially, I've been having a struggle with my thyroid. I have Hashimoto's disease, which is a hypothyroid condition that was really causing me difficulty. And I have been, over the last 4.5-ish years, about September 2015 is when I realized that my thyroid condition was present and how bad it was. I went to the doctor, and my TSH levels were off the charts, ridiculously off the charts, 88 when they're supposed to be under 3. So it was crazy. And I was just experiencing things, I was learning to run, and I wasn't getting any traction with the running in terms of metabolism and energy. And it didn't make sense to me that I was still gaining weight and different things like that. So anyway, a long, long journey of 4 years to doctors and specialists and naturopaths and all sorts of different things. I gained some traction, but not much. And I was kind of at my wit's end with it and really getting frustrated, because I knew something was going on in my body, but I couldn't turn that corner. And so honestly, I was kind of at the end of my rope. And then I thought, well, okay, why not try essential oils? My friend Melanie, who is the mutual link between Rebecca and I, she said, well, you should really try this thyroid blend that I use from Young Living, the essential oil blend. And she'd even given me a sample, and I hadn't tried it. And so I was kind of out of desperation, I'll try anything. But I honestly did not expect it to do anything. I was so skeptical. I was like, well, what's the big deal? So anyway, long story short, I started using the EndoFlex blend and the Progessence blend, which are the metabolism and hormonal blends to support the hormone systems. And I have felt the best that I have felt in the last 5 years since I started to use them. I can't even describe how much of a difference it has made in my energy levels, in my clarity, in my thinking. it's unbelievable. And so that was my first, I sort of came into Young Living with that health problem and looking for a solution for that. So that was my kind of point of entry. And then I ordered the starter kit, and I, thought I'm open now. Like, I'm open to this lifestyle. Like, obviously there's something here and I need to explore this further. And so another health concern that I was having is I would get tension and stress, like in the back of my neck, from just sitting all day and doing counseling, or just from how in the day my shoulders just would start to do this as I was like not focusing on my body. And so I started to reach for Panaway, or one of the blends called Valor, and I would just apply that to the back of my neck. And previously, I would have just popped an Advil. I would have just, maybe 2 or 3 times a week when I would have that pain, I would just grab an Advil. And that's how I would treat that pain, and then I would carry on. And so I started reaching for oils, and I realized about 4 months into my journey, I think, that I had only had 3 Advils total in that entire 4 months, because I was able to manage that tension and pain with the support of oils. And I didn't need to take any pain medication, which again I didn't even sort of realize that until I had got to the end of those months and looked back and thought, oh my gosh, like I'm just reaching for this natural alternative, and I'm not putting pharmaceuticals in my body, and my body is being restored, and it's so much better. And so there were only 3 occasions where the pain was significant enough that I had to do a combination of the 2. And it wasn't that I didn't reach for my oils, I just also needed pain meds at that point. But that was managing, like, to go from 3 times taking Advil a week to never needing it. It was just unbelievable. And then the third story I have is no small story either, which is, for those of you who've known me for a long time, you know how terrible my hands have been with eczema. 25 years I have struggled with horrible eczema, terrible hive-like itches, cracking, like never ever being restored, constant pain in my hands, embarrassed to even like shake someone's hand because of how bad it is. I've been to like no fewer than 3 or 4 different dermatologists over the years. I've tried every medication, topical, everything. I've done all the things, and nothing has helped. So I've just been like living with this terrible condition for so long. And since I started taking all of the toxins out of my home, started using different laundry soap, dish soap, hand soap, and just generally moving in this direction towards like a chemical-free lifestyle, and then applying the cream, like this is the lavender hand cream, but applying the Genesis hand cream, which I get on the state side, which you can get if you have a membership. It has changed my hands. Like, it'll be hard for you guys to see, but my kids and my husband will hold my hands and they're like, Mom, this never feels like this. Like, we don't even know. And every day I look at my hands and think, like, what has happened here? Like, for 25 years I struggled. So those are 3 of the little sort of victories I've had for myself in my story. And everybody's story is different with oils, but I am like converted. Like I said to somebody, I've been saved by essential oils. Like, I'm just like, because it has changed 3 very significant things that I was dealing with, and continues to give me tools to support those things. So the only time I notice a flare up on my hands now is if I use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, because they do dry it out. The Thieves-based one that we have is not so bad. It doesn't do that very much. But if I have to use one because we're out in a store or something, but I can restore that just by using the cream, and I can get back to normal. Whereas before, that would set me off for a week of agony in my hands, and it was terrible. So that's a little bit about my story and sort of the 3 areas that I've seen some change. So I hope that encourages you to think about the areas that you have that you are looking for support, and maybe to find some oils to help you with that. I'm going to introduce Rebecca a little bit. I already mentioned to you that we have a mutual friend named Melanie that connected us on the oils journey. I was investigating them for myself, and then ultimately for my practice, I wanted a therapeutic grade oil that I could bring into my therapy practice. to recommend to people for support of all kinds, but I'm particularly interested in doing more work around the emotional support, just because that's in my field as well. And so Rebecca's my leader in Young Living, and she's been super supportive and helpful as I've been figuring all of this out. And so I'm really excited to co-teach with her. So I will pass it over to her to tell about her story.
Sarah, that is amazing, the breakthrough and what you're having happen in your home. And that is, we've had amazing things happen in our home, but this is part of the reason why I love to share is we see home after home, life after life changed and improved since using essential oils and getting toxins out of our home. So my journey with Young Living started years ago, around 2010 actually, was the first time I'd ever heard of Young Living. So we're a military family. My husband's in the military. We've got 3 kids. And in 2010, we were posted to Kingston, Ontario. And a really good friend of mine there invited me to her house to a class just like this, where someone was going to talk about Young Living and essential oils. I'd never heard of Young Living, and I'd never heard of using oils for health support before. And I remember sitting around their kitchen table and just listening to the testimonies, similar to what Sarah's sharing with us today, and listening to all the uses they say they were talking about that these oils were good for. And I was already very naturally minded. You know, I avoided pills and syrups as much as I could. And so when I heard about these oils, I was like, you know what, this might be just what my family needs, like the missing piece to the puzzle for us. And so I ordered my starter kit that night and couldn't wait for the oils to arrive. So I feel like I was at the place in my life where I felt at the mercy of whatever was going around that year, whatever cold or flu or virus was going around. I didn't feel equipped to really take care of my family. Being naturally minded, there was very limited things to use to support your health. And so got the oils, started learning, and I knew, you know what, this is just what we need. And we have seen breakthroughs in our home. Probably one of the biggest and most life-changing was for my husband. He has suffered from back pain, like from a teenager on. And the reason why is he has a little vertebrae that's a little bit off, which causes pain. And when we were first married, I can remember his back would go out and he would lay on the floor just in pain, barely able to breathe because of the pain. And, you know, a couple good days would go by, he'd have to take a pill and it would shift and kind of work its way out. But when I got the oils, I realized that, wait a minute, I can be using these to help his back. And Young Living does have a raindrop kit, and it's like a massage kit. There's 9 oils and it's designed for back pain. And I couldn't afford the whole kit at the time. And so I just looked over the list. I picked out 3 or 4 oils and I ordered those. And whenever his back would start to act up, I would put those 4 oils on his back, and I would do that every 4 hours. And within a 12-hour period, the back pain was gone. And it actually got to the point where his back doesn't go out anymore. And I know that's not usually how it goes. Usually if we have a condition, you know, it doesn't get better on its own. And so that has been huge. That's been life-changing for him. He used to also suffer a lot from allergies. And, you know, the family would get the flu and the colds as they were going around. And as we started incorporating essential oils, we started to see all those things disappear in our home, which is amazing. So learned about the oils. Then we learned about chemical-free living. I had never heard of that before. I assumed that if a product was on the shelf, somebody had tested it for our safety, that, you know, the shampoos, the lotions, the cleaners, all those products that we buy, I thought that they were fine and okay to be using. But I did a little bit of research and I realized, wait a minute, there are toxins and there are chemicals hiding in all of these products that interfere with our normal body function. And they can interfere with our hormones, interfere with our sleep, interfere with digestion. And so I realized, you know what, we need to start pulling these products out. And that is a journey. And at first it can seem overwhelming. You're like, oh my goodness, where do I even start? But with Young Living, they have over 600 products that are all toxin-free, chemical-free, essential oil infused, and they actually make the transition easy. So Young Living has been around 26 years. They are the original essential oil company, and they're started by Gary and Mary Young. And they have a seed to seal quality guarantee on all their products, which means that they have very, very high, very strict regulations on all of their products. And with their oils being therapeutic grade, they know everything that needs to be in that bottle of peppermint oil for it to be therapeutic. They know what needs to be in the lemon for it to be therapeutic. And they have rigorous testing and standards on all their products that if something doesn't measure up, it does not make it to market. And just knowing that gives me peace of mind that I know I can just trust what they have, that it's chemical free, toxin free, and good for my family. And so they make it easy to switch over. So, introducing the oils made a big shift. Pulling out all the toxins made an even bigger shift in our home. And the journey just continues. And so now I share that with other people. And now that I've realized, wait, these toxins aren't good for us. These oils can be helpful, it's fun to share this with other people because there are really life-changing things. And actually one of my personal breakthroughs with the oils was, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a bit of a story, but I had an intense fear of mice that started when I was a kid, just from an incident that happened. And my husband was deployed to Africa for 6 months 2 years ago. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get 2 oils. I'm going to use them every day just for stress and, peace and calming. So the 2 I used were Stress Away and Peace and Calming. I put them on my chest, like over my heart every day, morning and night. And at the time I was thinking, this is just for emotional support. Well, the deployment came and went, and the next year I was outside doing some yard work and a little mouse runs by and I say, "Oh, cute, a mouse." And then I just stop and I'm like, I have never ever said those words before in my life. Normally I would just I was whippersnipping, throw the whippersnipper and get out of there. But I just saw the mouse and I kept working and I thought, wait a minute. These oils, I thought I was just using them for emotional support, but what they actually did was a little bit more of a detox and a cleansing at the cellular level for me. And so we're not going to get too much into the chemistry side of it today, but there is a real science behind what these oils can do. And it really has been life-changing for my family. So that fear of mice has never come back. I'm actually not even afraid of snakes or spiders anymore, which is kind of funny. I see one of my son, he's 17, he'll squeal and scream when he sees a mouse. And I'm like, wow, that is actually what I used to do. And so it's just been amazing. I'm excited to see where this journey is going to take us. And, it's the changes that happen in our home are just priceless. And it's fun sharing that with others. So I'm going to pass it back to Sarah. We're going to get into the oils a little bit more, and I'm going to mute my mic so Sarah can jump back in.
Okay. These stories are so interesting. And like Rebecca said, there's so many of them, and people, have different health journeys that they're on and different emotional needs and different things that happen. And a lot of people have said like I was sharing even about the headaches or Rebecca about the mice, like you don't even realize what has happened until you look back and realize that's not happening for me anymore. And all of a sudden, the change isn't maybe evident along the way, but using them is changing what's happening in your body. And it's so interesting. So essential oils, in terms of what they are, it was funny when somebody told me once that essential oils aren't actually oily, like as we would typically think of them being like viscose oils, like we would think of a canola oil or something. It's not really like that. An essential oil, some of them have a little bit more of that consistency, but an essential oil is the lifeblood of the plant. So the essential oils help the plant with healing, and they represent the immune system of the plant. And so what they do inside the plant is transport the oxygen, get rid of toxins, they deliver nutrients around the plant, and they protect the plant. And so those are the kinds of things that they do for us. So those same functions they can have for us and in our systems. So one of the things that really stood out to me from one of the very early classes that I took, and it's really stuck with me since then, is that when we use pharmaceuticals, and there is a place for those. So, you know, I don't want anyone to hear that I'm anti-pharmaceutical across, like, you should never ever take an Advil. I still take an Advil once in a while. But there are lots of times when we are turning to pharmaceuticals, which are these chemical-based, unnatural options to help our systems. But really what we're doing is disguising our problem by putting sort of a Band-Aid solution of a pharmaceutical over that. So the way that it stood out to me is that, you know, if I have a headache and I take an Advil, the Advil tells my body that I don't have a headache. So it just masks the symptom and helps me cope with that, but it doesn't actually do anything at the site of the pain to help support healing. And so it kind of lies to my body, right? It says, okay, take this. You don't have a headache now, and so you can carry on. So we know of people who, for example, have injuries and they take a lot of pharmaceuticals and they continue to lift weights or run on their bad ankle, but their ankle isn't healed. They just don't feel the pain anymore. And so they think they're okay. So it's a very different thing when you are putting an essential oil. So the essential oil goes to the site and helps to support that healing and regenerate what needs to be done in those spaces, so that it's telling your body the truth. It's like, okay, we know you have a challenge here. We know you have some pain here. We're showing up to help, kind of thing. And so that whole idea of them telling our bodies the truth versus the pharmaceuticals lying to our body really resonated with me. And I think it's because it's so much a value of mine to be seeking truth and to be helping people discover truth and see things clearly and discern that in their own lives, that it just seems like essential oils are such a natural, again, extension of that value for me in the work that I do therapeutically as well. Like we operate psychologically with so many lies that we believe. And when we replace them with truth, we're liberated and we're free. And essential oils do that on like a cellular level in our body. And so it's just such a beautiful marriage of those ideas for me that makes a lot of sense. When some of you will know that I was a teacher before I was a psychotherapist for 15 years. And I was actually trained as a chemistry and an English teacher, which is funny because I never really taught chemistry. I did some tutoring. I taught it when I was a teaching student. But when I got into essential oils, my chemistry background, I just started nerding out and reading the great big textbook of essential oils and highlighting. And I was like loving it, this essential oils desk guide. And there is so much interesting science in this. It's not maybe mainstream, but it's so interesting to me. And so we're not getting into all of that today, but man, you can really nerd out on the chemistry of it if that's your bent. And there's some great resources to do that. And then I think the main thing for me with the essential oils is that they're gifts in creation. You know, in the natural world, they're providing, like these plants are providing us with these incredible properties that just sort of blow my mind, and it's this connection to a natural form of healing. And, you know, that really resonates again with just my own connection to nature and to spirituality, and how that is, again, just all like interconnected for me in my head. It just makes a lot of sense. So that's what essential oils are. That's how they work. And then obviously there are different oils that work differently to do different things and differently in different people's bodies. And so we're on a journey to figure out what works for us, what our body needs, and trying to do that. So I'm going to pop into a lot of people when they start out with Young Living, like Rebecca was saying, she couldn't afford the starter kit when she was starting, so she picked a few oils. But lots of people do like to get a starter kit because it's a great place to start and it's a great option. They've bundled things together so that it's economical for you. I think they were saying it's like the cost of 2 of the oils plus the diffuser covers the entire cost, and you get 11 oils and a bunch of other fun stuff with your kit. So the reason we just start giving those as examples, because they're some of the good foundational oils. And so we're just going to walk through a few of those and talk about some of the components. Now, I'm going to get Rebecca. Rebecca might unmute here because I haven't done this whole teaching before, so she may want to jump in on some of the things that I'm missing. So if you do, Rebecca, you just pop in whenever and help me work through this. So there are a whole bunch of oils. So I'll hold them up. Rebecca's got a kit that she can show you as well, but I've got most of them here. The sad thing about doing this over Zoom is you don't get to smell them. And of course, essential oils are not all about the smell, but the smell is a big part of it. And so I'll do my best to describe these for you. So RC is for respiratory congestion and respiratory support. And so it's a great one for people who need to keep things moving through their lungs, dealing with colds, coughs, congestion, allergies, that sort of thing. So a lot of people will diffuse this to try and open up the airways and keep things breathing easily. It has kind of it's not quite like a Vicks Vapor Rub smell, because the Vicks Vapor Rub smell is kind of chemically, and it's not quite that, but I would describe this as one that you use because it helps, not because you love the scent of it. But it's a great one. I have done this on the bottom of the kids' feet. I've done it on my chest to keep it close so I can like open up my breathing. Every so often I feel, right now, the allergies I think are what's getting to me, and the pollen outside and everything will get me kind of wheezy. And so I'll put some RC on, and that really helps me open up the airwaves. So that's RC. It contains, it says here, 3 kinds of eucalyptus, myrtle, pine, marjoram, lavender, cypress, peppermint, and suga, whatever that is, I'm not sure. But it's a great blend. So one of the things about, you'll get a mix of individual essential oils and blends in the starter kit. And a lot of times the blends are more economical to buy as blends, because making your own blend with all of those different oils would be tricky to do, to have all those oils to make the right combination. And so there's some really awesome blends that have been done for you. And a lot of people use the blends, well, any of them really, and dilute them in like a roller bottle so that they can, apply them topically, or use them and make the blend go a little further. So it's kind of if you want to be economical about it, that's a great way to do it with some of the blends. Okay, what do we got next here? So lavender, a lot of people will be familiar with lavender. It is a very, very common essential oil, and it's a very common scent in like bath and body products because it's known to have like calming and relaxing properties. It's great for your skin. It helps alleviate headaches and stress. It'll help people sleep. A lot of people will diffuse lavender at night for sleeping. It's interesting because when Rebecca and I were first talking about oils, she said if you have a strong adverse reaction to an oil, or if you have a strong, like, I love it, give me more of it reaction to an oil, that tells you something. So for me, I love citrus oils. And so I can't get enough of citrus oils. I could have them all the time, every last one of them. I love them. And so there's a sense in which that indicates that I need that oil, and that's a physical need for me. I need that energizing, which is true because I have been working with a condition that depletes my energy. And so it's very common to me or obvious to me that would be true. With lavender, I don't like it. I don't like the scent of it. I've never really liked lavender. Now, mind you, I didn't smell like lavender that's out there in bath products and things like that is not lavender essential oil. It's not the same scent, but I've never liked it. And so Rebecca's like, so you need it. And I'm like, okay. And I thought, you know what? I do, right? I need to sleep well. I get headaches. I have a lot of stress in my life. I got 4 kids, to say the least, not the least of which is being a psychotherapist and hearing lots of what other people are going through. There's a lot of things that I'm dealing with. And obviously calming and relaxing is something that's a very helpful thing. And so I still really don't like lavender, but I find myself reaching for it all the time because I know it's helping me. But she was saying that adverse reaction usually indicates an emotional need, whereas the love reaction indicates a physical need. So that was kind of interesting for me related to lavender because I don't really like it. A lot of people love lavender, and that's great. Okay, Panaway. Panaway is like an A535 kind of rub smell, except again, a pure natural form of that. This is one that I reach for all the time, and I use a lot with my husband. He also uses the Cool Azul cream that Young Living has. That's sort of got the Pan-Away blend in there and easy to apply. So just for back pain, neck tension, that kind of thing. So it has that winter green, kind of smells a bit like toothpaste to me. But this is for managing achy muscles, joint pain. You can also use it as a post-workout blend to help support your system in like restoring maybe the muscles that have been broken down in weightlifting, or to invigorate, you know, what's happened in your system post-workout. And I really find this one to be a go-to. It's not an inexpensive blend, but it's excellent. And I've recommended it to a lot of my clients and a lot of my friends who are dealing with chronic pain. And it's been really, really helpful for them as well. So that's Pan-Away. And what else we got here? Digize. Okay, this is another one that works really well, but you don't use it because it smells good, because it doesn't smell good. But Rebecca was telling a story about how she would put it on if she was like going out to a party and she knew like she's going to need some digestive support, because you know you tend to eat a little more when you're out socializing, and then somebody would say like, what's that smell? And then she's like, oh, I put on my Digize, right? So this one supports the digestive system, just like you'd imagine with the name like that. You can rub it on your belly. You can put a drop under your tongue. You can put it on your feet yourself, or for babies and children. It's like to ease the digestive discomfort. So if you have upset stomach or bloating or gas, I actually had a bit of heartburn the other day, and I put some right on that area, and it helped alleviate that almost right away. So it's one of those ones that you kind of want to have with you to grab, sort of like a Pan-Away or even a peppermint when we get to it. So when that headache pops up, you can grab the Pan-Away, or when that digestive issue pops up, you have that, and you're not necessarily reaching for like a Tums or a Zantac or something like that to help. You can also use this one proactively. So if you know you're going to be, it's Christmas dinner and you know your body's going to need some support, you can put it on even before you have an issue, just to help support your system. So that's Digize, but it doesn't smell great, but it works really well. And that's a common, I think, misconception about oils too, is that people just use them because they smell wonderful. Like, they do smell wonderful, a lot of them, but they do so much more than that. Okay, moving on here. Peppermint. Okay, peppermint oil is another one of those ones that's common, that people know. It's sort of a basic oil. It's in a lot of blends. It smells like a candy cane in the best form of that. It's awesome. It's a hot oil, and I think Pan-Away is a hot oil as well. I forgot to mention that. So hot oils just mean that if you apply them, you really want to dilute them to apply them topically on the skin, because they will feel hot. They'll feel tingly. And it won't hurt you, but it will feel bizarre if you're not used to that. And so I find with some of them, I don't have to dilute them now, because I've built up, I guess, I don't know, a tolerance or just a comfort level with it. But hot oils, you want to be careful, and you really want to be careful with peppermint, getting it anywhere near your eyes, because of the water in your eyes will draw it in, and it will be very uncomfortable. So just be mindful of that, not getting it into those areas. But it's energizing, it's oxygenating, it wakes you up, like it just gives you that burst of energy. It helps digestion. A lot of people will know that from drinking like a peppermint tea even. So peppermint's another great one to support digestion. And of course it's in Digize as well for that reason. You can breathe it in. It can help balance the stomach acid, and it helps release your digestive enzymes in your system. So lots of good things. One of the girls in our Voxer group also shared that it apparently repels ants from coming into your house. So that's an interesting tidbit. I haven't tried it for that yet, but that was it. You know, so you never, all these things they'll do, and then there's something else they'll do too. So that's pretty cool. Okay, purification. So purification is, again, exactly as it sounds. It's kind of like the Febreze of essential oils, I think, where it takes all, in a very good way, because we don't want to use Febreze anymore. It takes unwanted odors out of the air, and it'll helps to repel insects. You can actually use it on the skin. If you get a bug bite, you can make a spray and put it into like stinky shoes or on sports equipment to get that smell out. I sometimes will put a couple of drops in my bathroom here at the shop, because the bathroom has a door that goes down to the dirt floor basement, because it's a really old building. And so there's a musty smell. And so I'll put a couple of drops of this with my lemongrass on my diffuser just to take that out of the air in that space. I've actually found this to be really good to apply topically, like a antiseptic. So if you have like an infection, like you have a bug bite or you have something that you want, like I read about it in my big chemistry nerd out book, and it's been great. You just apply a drop of that to purify the surface of that. It helps restore those skin issues. So it's really great. A lot of people like to use that in conjunction with thieves as well in cleaning. I know if you have company over, maybe that's a smoker or something like that. Like I've had that happen where some of my clients smoke. And so when they come in, that's the fragrance is kind of left in the air. If I diffuse purification, it takes that right out of the air. So there's some really interesting ways that you can use that and apply it topically or diffuse it, right? Okay, Copaiba is a weird one to pronounce. It's a very soft smelling oil, and it's an oil that helps the other oils penetrate more deeply and travel more deeply into the tissue. So you can pair it with a peppermint, for example, for deep tissue relief. If you bring those two together, it's also lovely to support just soft tissues in your system. There's a note here that says it soothes teething gums. I did not know that. So for babies, that's good to know. And it drives the vitamin C into your cells and tissues and accelerates the healing. So it says it has 55% cannabinoids, which, Rebecca, maybe you can speak to that for a second, because I don't know if I can speak to that intelligently.
Yep. So what that means is Copaiba is really effective for pain and inflammation. And so when people go to CBD oil, they're looking for the cannabinoids in it. And Copaiba actually has higher 55% cannabinoids, which is actually higher than what they get from cannabis oil. And so what happens is the Copaiba oil helps kind of tone down the pain receptors in our body, and it's really effective for pain and inflammation. So you can even just put a drop under your tongue. So Sarah mentioned that it's got a very mellow scent. It has a very mellow flavor as well. So you can put a drop under your tongue. And kind of one thing with the oils is you put it where you need it. Is it your elbow? Is it your knee? Put the oil where you need it. And Copaiba is a really great one for pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one I think that maybe is undersold a little bit. Like it's in the starter kit, but it probably doesn't get the attention that it's due, because it really has some awesome properties. And so even for me, just thinking about it again today, I'm thinking I'm going to have to start to pair that a little bit more and think to grab for that a little bit more as I'm applying some of these other oils as well. So oh, go ahead, Rebecca. Did you want
I was going to say, sometimes I'll just add it to the diffuser with another oil because it has a very mellow scent. So when I go to bed and I put my diffuser on, sometimes I'll just put Copaiba just because of the benefits of it.
Smart. I never thought of that. Good tip. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do that because I like it. It's one that I haven't used as much as I would like to. Okay, so Thieves, a lot of you will know about Young Living because of their Thieves line. And so the fun story about Thieves is that back in the 1500s, when the plague was going through Europe, there was this group of spice salesmen, herb and spice salesmen or whatever, that were going through and like looting all of the bodies of these sick and dying people and going into their homes and taking things from these people who had died of the plague, but they weren't getting sick. And so when they were sort of came to trial, they said, well, it's crazy to, would be crazy to them that they weren't getting sick. What was the secret? And so in exchange for a lesser punishment, they explained what the spices and herbs were that they had with them that prevented that from happening. And so Young Living has built their Thieves line of like personal and home cleaning products around the Thieves blend. And so it's so interesting. And so a lot of people already know about Young Living just because of the Thieves oil, because it's so popular and so effective. And so it's, what do I need to say about that? It is fantastic for immune boosting. And so of course it's super popular right now because people are trying to use Thieves in their home to do cleaning, to diffuse, to keep them healthy and safe at a time like we're in, right? There's some sickness going through the world. And so Thieves is really, really great. A lot of people love it. It's a spicy blend. It has clove, lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. I like to add a little more lemon. It's very spicy. It smells a bit like Christmas to me because of the cloves, I think. And interestingly, clove has the highest antioxidant rating of any of the essential oils. So that's kind of a neat tidbit of info too. So a lot of people just love the scent of it. And so when you're cleaning your house, you're getting those oils in your home, but also you're smelling them in your home. We're cleaning through the office here between people coming for like a shopping spree on their own. We're cleaning through with oil. So when they come in, it smells lovely like Thieves. So I like to add a little bit of extra lemon to that. Some people might like to add a little more rosemary to get a blend with the scents they like, but this is such a great base. And all of the Thieves product line from Young Living has that essential oil infused into it. And there's lots that could be said about that. Probably a whole class could be done on the Thieves line.
One thing that I like to do with the Thieves is if anybody's starting to kind of come down with something or they're getting a sore throat, I get a spoon of honey and I put a drop of Thieves and sometimes a drop of lemon too, and then just have them eat that, and it kind of coats their throat as it goes down. And it's just really helpful with boosting the immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one, Rebecca. I'm learning here and I'm supposed to be leading. So you always learn something new. There's always
more to learn. Yep.
Lemon oil is a wonderful oil. It's so invigorating and delicious. I love it. Although I already confessed to you that I love citrus oils and citrus scents. A lot of the citrus scents are photosensitive, which means that this time of year, you really want to be careful. If you are applying them topically at all, you want to put that in a spot that is not going to see sunlight because it can create a little bit of a weird sort of rashy burn on your skin if it's been applied and then it's in direct sunlight. So you want to be careful about using them that way. But one of the most common uses that I know of for lemon, other than diffusing and enjoying like lemon scent, is that people put a drop of lemon in their water first thing in the morning to kickstart their gut bacteria and to get their digestive system rolling in the morning. I've been doing that for about a month and it's awesome. It's great support. I just put one drop in the bottom of the glass, fill it up with water so that the oil kind of gets broken up through the water, and then I drink it. And it's a great way to start to have the support of lemon. It helps with mood. When you smell it, there is just an instant like uplifting scent to it. It gives some digestive support, as we talked about. It'll help balance your body's pH. It can also boost immunity. It's great as a Goo Gone alternative. If you use that product called Goo Gone to get like gross stickers off of, I know my mom, she's going to be listening to this and thinking, I know exactly what you're talking about, because we always get so mad when we go to Winners and they've got these awful stickers on things. And why do they do that? Anyway, this is great. You just put a drop of lemon oil and it will lift that all off and it won't leave any marks or residue, and you're not using something chemical to do it. So it's a great alternative to that. Lots of great properties with circulation, supporting the lymphatic system. It can be helpful in coughs and colds, even as what Rebecca just said around, adding it and Thieves to a spoonful of honey as a way of supporting, boosting immunity if you feel you're coming down with something. And just generally, you can use it as a food additive. Like if you want to drop, drop a couple of drops of lemon into a dip mix or something like that to give that fresh flavor. You can use it that way as well. So it's an awesome one. I'm hoping to do a promo in August where I have glass water bottles at the shop that I've brought in so that people can do lemon in their water, because you can't put essential oils into a plastic water bottle because it will leach the plastic, and that defeats the purpose of doing something natural. So you want a glass water bottle or a stainless steel one. I prefer glass. So we brought some in, and I think we're going to do a promo where if you get, we'll do a bundle with a little lemon essential oil and a water bottle, so you can try that in August. So stay tuned if that's of interest. Okay, we're getting to the end. A couple more. Just a note on the lymphatic system, which the lemon supports, which again is great if you do that 1 drop in the morning. The lymphatic system filters out the toxins in our body. So we have those lymph nodes all over our body, but we mostly have them on our neck, like armpit and our groin area. And so if you get some support for that, it's going to help detoxify as well throughout the system and help support your lymphatic system to sweat it out, I guess, or however it's coming out of your system. And so the lemon oil keeps those fluids moving in order to have that accomplished. So it's great. We could go on and on about lemon, but just it's a staple. Even people who aren't doing it's probably one of the first oils actually that people get into, because there's just so many great things about it. Okay, frankincense is a really neat one. Of course, everybody thinks of Christmas when they think of frankincense. It's hard to describe the smell. It's kind of an earthy, spicy smell. It's very different than anything else that I can put it to. It has its very own unique scent to it. Frankincense is great for soft tissue support and immune support. If I remember correctly, it also is like copaiba, where it will help things penetrate more deeply into the system. Is that right, Rebecca? I'm getting a nod. Yes. Okay. I remembered that correctly. It will help with brain and spine support. But the most interesting thing for me is that when you apply or smell frankincense, there's studies that have shown that it activates the same part of your brain that is activated in like prayer or meditation. So a lot of people use frankincense as part of like a daily spiritual practice or a prayer time. They diffuse it or apply it topically, on their wrists. It's interesting because both of my sons, when we cuddle up in bed at night and we have our chat or we read a bit together, they both want to apply Frank. They're like, give us some Frank. And they really like this one. So it's very soothing to them. And it's kind of interesting. So there's a whole other support that sort of links to spirituality with oils, and this is one of the ones that does that. I also love sacred frankincense. That's become one of my favorite ones, which is another oil. But frankincense is great for a lot of things. I remember Rebecca saying that, like, when in doubt, choose frankincense. So it's another staple, kind of like lavender or lemon, which is why they're in the starter kit, because they're really great basics. And last but certainly not least, in the starter kit, you get the Northern Lights Black Spruce. This smells just like being in a forest. It's amazing. It's the only Canadian farm that Young Living has. It's in Fort Nelson, BC. And so that's very cool. So the Canadians want to support the Canadian farms. It's emotionally grounding. It's very relaxing. It's great on skin. And a lot of men in particular like to wear it as a cologne. I know my own husband and other people have said the same thing, Melanie, and I think Rebecca's husbands too. They really like this one for sleep. So often Jason will ask for us to diffuse this one at night. It's just very relaxing and soothing, and it's wonderful. There are lots of different tree oils that are very interesting, like the Idaho Blue Spruce, I think it's called. There's a few other ones, and they're all really, really lovely. And again, probably could do a whole class on just tree oils and how cool they are. But this is a great one to get started in the starter kit. So I think I have covered them. Hopefully I haven't taken up too much of our time. We have just a little bit more to wrap up. I do know that some of you may have a time constraint, so we'll try and be mindful of that, but if you can stick with us for a few more minutes, that'll be great.
So I'm just going to show you what the starter kit looks like. I don't know if you can see that very well. So it is a beautiful presentation, and you open up the box and you have all your oils right here. So the starter kit was designed for, you know, the most common oils for everyday use. So they come in this, on this beautiful little thing. You can, and it has a little stand in the back if you want to just prop it up. And then underneath, you open this up and there's some more goodies. There's 2 packets of our Ningxia Red, which is our antioxidant drink. There's a hand sanitizer, which is amazing. It's got thieves and peppermint in it. And there's a roller top in here as well. And so some oils that I use topically a lot, I'll put this roller top on it, and you can just roll the oil on for using it. And as we're talking about these oils, there's really 3 different ways you can use them. We've been talking about using them topically. You can put them in your diffuser. Some of them are actually approved to be ingested, and then you can inhale them as well. So there's lots of different ways to be using the oils. And really they do, our bodies are designed to heal. And when we give our bodies the right support that they need to heal and to function properly, they do that, whether it's digestion or hormonal support or focus and clarity. There's just so many elements to life that we could just use a little bit more support. And so one thing I'm going to talk about really briefly, because I know time is of the essence here, is I'm going to talk about the Thieves line really quick. So this is the Thieves line. I love this super cute little caddy. But Young Living makes it easy to switch from toxins to chemical free. And what that means is just getting these products out that are actually interfering with our health and replacing them with clean products. So Young Living they have a starter kit bundle for Thieves, and it's a laundry detergent. And this is not very big, but my family of 5, we've got 3 teenagers now that do their own laundry. This lasts us 6-7 months, and you just use a tablespoon per load, which is different than what we're used to. We're used to putting a little bit more laundry detergent in the washer, and it smells amazing. So laundry soap. Then we have our Thieves household cleaner, and this stuff is amazing because I use this one cleaner to clean everything in my house, from my bathroom to the floors, windows, mirrors, everything, even in the inside of my car. I even wipe down furniture with this. Like, it's a one cleaner does it all. And how this works is I have another bottle, which I didn't bring it in here. It's about the same size. I fill the other bottle up with water and put 1 capful of this cleaner in that bottle. And so this one bottle lasts a very, very long time. Plant-based, safe for kids, safe for pets, safe for people with sensitive respiratory system, which is great. And it smells amazing, which is awesome. So Sarah had mentioned hand soap. So this is the Thieves hand soap. It smells really great, essential oil infused. A lot of hand soaps out there have lots of toxins in them. And David Suzuki has like a dirty dozen list, you know, kind of the top 12 toxins to avoid. There are many on that list in very popular scented hand soaps that really do interfere with hormones in particular. And so switching out your hand soap to something that's clean and non-toxic, actually essential oil infused, helps support your health, not just, you know, hindering it or affecting it. So it's a great hand soap. Then we have our dish soap, and this is a great one. Think about, we put our hands in water. Whatever we put on our skin is in our bloodstream in 26 seconds. So when we're using kind of toxic dish soap, that's getting right into our system. And every little change that we can make in a positive way is going to be impactful for our health. So then they have
just interject quickly there, Rebecca, yep, and just say that like changing the stuff that my hands were using, like whether it's the cleaners, the dish soap, laundry detergent, things that my hands were touching all the time. I think that's like, as much as I love the Genesis oil, it's the combination of not having my hands in those toxic products that has made a huge difference. So taking things, like being able to take things out and have them not coming out in my hands, but also not putting my hands into those situations, that's been huge for me, like those switchovers. So like, I think it's a really important, like, that we can't, if we keep doing things internally, but then we keep sticking our hands in Dawn or whatever, we're going to be like counterbalancing what we're doing. And so it's important to think about both of those things, I think.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yep. They also have toothpaste, which is great. This is the Aroma Bright, but they have a new one out now, a whitening toothpaste that's really, really great. So toothpaste is another place where toxins and chemicals are hiding. And it's important that we have good bacteria in our mouth, and a lot of, antibacterial toothpastes actually kill the good and the bad, where the Thieves toothpaste lets the good bacteria stay and it just takes care of the bad bacteria. So then we have the Thieves hand sanitizer, which is awesome. It does not dry your hands. It leaves your hands feeling soft and really effective for killing germs, which this is a great size. I keep one in my purse all the time. The kids have them in their backpacks. I've got one in the car. Just really great, especially at this time when we're using a lot of hand sanitizer. So then they have a Thieves fruit and veggie wash, which is really good because sometimes there's toxins hiding in our fruits and veggies. And so this is another area where we can kind of clean them up a little bit and have a healthier veggies. And then, of course, the famous Thieves oil that Sarah was telling us all about. So when I say, young living lifestyle, what that means to me is it's a journey. It's a journey of learning how to use oils to support your health and pulling out toxins out of your home. And I didn't know for a long time that there were toxins there. But once I realized it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this seriously. Probably the thing that pricked my heart the most when I learned about it was infertility. That can affect many, many people and many homes. And I thought, you know what? My kids are growing up right now and their endocrine systems are functioning and it's being established. And that's something I don't want them to have to deal with as adults. And there's many things that toxins and chemicals do to our endocrine system, that the more we can pull toxins out, the better we are. And this is kind of like a preventative lifestyle where you are, you're giving your body what it needs to be healthy, and you're pulling out everything that would be adding extra stress or overload or burden on your body. And so yeah, it's just been amazing. I know Young Living has changed my life. Somebody once asked me, how would you feel if no one had ever introduced you to Young Living? And so I took a minute and I was like, okay, let me actually give some time to that. And I thought I would have a huge void in my life. Just the amazing community, the amazing products, and the breakthroughs that we've had in our health and our emotions, especially for me and my emotions. Like, I wouldn't want it any other way. And it actually makes me feel sad when I think, what would life be like if I hadn't, had crossed paths with Young Living? And so it's been fun. It's been amazing. And for me, I love learning. I love traveling. I love the community. And Young Living is just a full package. And so, yeah, it's been amazing.
Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to take a couple more minutes to wrap it up here officially, and then we will stop the recording and stay for anybody who has questions that wants to pop in with their questions. So just to let you know, there are 3 points of entry for Young Living. So when people are thinking about, okay, so how do I get started? How do I start getting these products into my home, that kind of thing. The first point of entry I have is at the store. So I do have some products in for retail. I have the household cleaner. I have the lavender body spray. I have a selection of oils and products to get you started. So if you just want to get a few things, I can help you with that at the store and do the retail option. And so that's a great starting point. There's also just a sort of standard membership with Young Living where you can just get their wholesale prices just by creating an account and directly ordering what you want when you want from them at their wholesale prices. So if you're really starting to get into them, it makes sense to me that, retail, you might as well save that little bit. And in this time where we're all ordering things in and delivering them to our house, it makes a lot of sense to have that option to do that. And you're still able to be a part of the team and get support for how to make those decisions and do that kind of thing. And then Young Living has an essential rewards program, which is really kind of like an auto ship Fab Fit Fun type program, if you know that, where you get to fully customize what you want to send to your home each month there's all kinds of bells and whistles with the ER orders, and with the ER, you get points and you get free oils and you get loyalty rewards the longer that you are using Young Living products. It has absolutely been the way for me to go, because it's a no-brainer for me that for my family, as I'm switching things over, it's very easy for me to do that minimum order. It's actually very hard for me to do a minimum order. It's never a minimum order. It's always like a maximum order. But it's a really great product. And Rebecca made a great video about that. So if you think that, you know, this is a lifestyle change that you want to make and you want to try the Essential Rewards, I can happily send you her video that goes over all of the details, because it's an involved program, but it's super fun and you get to try a lot of great products. And there's lots of ways to think about how to make that work for your budget and to pace things out. So I won't get into all of that here, but that's another way to get involved with Young Living and get going. And then we have a community going. So many of you have already taken advantage of, I've just done free sort of oily Q&A session. So just a one-on-one, we just book a time and we do a phone call and we chat about your needs, your interests, what your health goals are, how you might like to get started. I can help you set up your account. I can help you make some decisions about how to you know, pick the best oils for the budget or for the health needs or for those kinds of, you know, questions that you might have. And so it's just an opportunity for us to chat about oils very particular to you, and figure out your next steps. So I'm happy to do that for anybody who wants to do that. You can just message me and we'll set up a time and we can talk just one-on-one about that. And there's no cost to that. I also have a free Voxer group. Again, a lot of you will be on the Voxer group. If you're not on it, Voxer is just a free app that you can download to your phone. I didn't want to do a Facebook group because I'm not on Facebook actively, and I find that sometimes my groups just get like mixed up in all of the other things going on Facebook. But if you're more of a Facebook user and Voxer doesn't work for you, or you want to be on both of those things, Rebecca has a great group called the Dewdrop Lounge. That you would be welcome to be a part of, where there's, again, just a spot for sharing questions, tips, product ideas, sales, promos, you know, testimonies, like this is what's working. It's just a very casual back and forth group, and a great opportunity to connect with other people in this lifestyle. So I do have that group and it's available to anybody who wants to be a part of it. And also there's continued learning opportunities. So I am hoping to do like a monthly free lunch and learn type class, hopefully once a month starting August, like just having that be something that I can direct people to as they're wanting to check in. So not that it will be this class exactly. There's so many different classes. There's a class on the makeup line, which I love. There's a class on oils in the bedroom. There's a class on the raindrop technique for back pain. There's a class on all sorts of things. So between Rebecca training me and Rebecca offering some of those, we'll keep you informed about those options too, to keep learning. I'm hoping in the fall and beyond, who knows what the condition of the world is, we're taking it all as it comes, but we'll have some events at the store where we can do like some workshops and make our own roller bottles, and maybe do an emotions and oils class that way. So there'll be lots of things coming up around that. And then there's also a couple of apps that you can use. There's the Oily app. There's the Reference for Guide for Essential Oils app. There's the desk reference book. So if you want to keep learning about oils on your own and do that research, there's some really good tools for that. So lots of opportunities for continued learning and connection and community, if it's of interest, and you know, lots of support for you there, because it can be, as Rebecca said, overwhelming. There's a lot, and you want to find a place to start and just start to, you know, maybe one product at a time, you know, start to just shift and see how those changes are really helping you and your family. So anyway, I thank everybody for coming. I know a couple people either dropped out because of technology issues or just because their time ran out. And so I will make the video available, but at this point we'll just say our formal goodbye and then go into our Q&A session, where we won't record that, just so you guys don't feel like you're being in the spotlight.